Hello and welcome to our third Space to Steep video as we continue to move through a cauldron month together. However that looks for you, whether you have allowed yourself 15 minutes, a half an hour, a day, a week to steep in what you need and in what you know. So inviting you to take a deep breath and settle yourself into your body, into the cauldron of being, into the cauldron of reflection that you carry within. And taking this sacred pause to allow yourself some time to steep. So this week's brief video draws upon my recent essay for Feminism and Religion, which is about summer steeping or summer simmering. And so I will link to that below. It's kind of a recombination of other resources that I've already shared, so you'll probably recognize some of it. But I did want to draw attention to some of what I had written in the essay. I'm realizing increasingly how much better sometimes video can be about communicating things as opposed to writing, especially for reading digitally and things kind of skim. I know how my eyes move when I'm looking at a digital resource and they kind of skim right through it. And so sometimes it's different to hear from the person. So you're welcome to read the essay, but then I wanted to share some pieces from it as well. And so basically, one of the things that I wrote there is that, and so we've already talked about the pattern of kind of revving harder and moving, doing more throughout summer, and then having a call from your body that says, hey, call a halt, drop into the cauldron. And so summer really is this time of generosity and thriving, not only of the plants and the land, but of ideas, plans, visions, and possibilities. There is much that asks for our patience and our power at this time of year. So we maybe feel poised at a crossroads, held in a luminous space between comfort and risk, effort and ease, determination and desire. And we discover that we're invited to choose a way forward. So I spoke of this, but you're not going to have watched that video yet. I have a crossroads rune coming up in Earth Runes. And one of the things I said there is drawing from Maya Toll's work, the idea that it can be tempting to set up camp in the middle at the crossroads and not choose a way forward. Like, let's just set up camp right here in the middle. But eventually you do have to choose a way forwards. And I feel I've talked about this time of the year as being this kind of threshold time. You're crossing the threshold into something new. It's a crossroads time too, where we approach the crossroads of choice and change. We're sort of wondering, what next? What do we do? And so the way I visualize this, like picture there being an actual cauldron sitting at the crossroads. And I can see myself approaching the crossroads, getting into the cauldron and like sitting there and steeping, waiting for the moon to rise and then eventually rising out and choosing my way forward. So that's the mental image that comes to me when I think of these shared concepts. But we're invited to choose a way forward. After the time of steeping, after the threshold, after the crossroads, we're invited to choose a way forward. And we also discover that we can't tend every dream into flourishing. So I know that goes contrary to the, we're all limitless kind of messaging that we can get from other sources, but we do have to choose. We do have finite capacities and finite resources, and we do have to choose. We can't tend every dream into flourishing, and we have to make our peace with shutting some doors or closing some doors if we actually want to step forward. I had that audio that I shared recently about taking down some chairs. I think that's in the breakdown and breakthroughs. Like sometimes you have to take down some chairs in your life and stop inviting them to all be filled up. And so anyway, this is the time when we sink into that. May we gather together our resources. May we pause to listen to longing. May we let the sensation and the knowing of thriving and flourishing seep into us. May we steep for a spell in this abundant warmth and pulsing desire of summer's power. May we hold our offerings close to our hearts one more time. May we lift up what we've chosen into the sun and set forth. We've chosen our way. So right now we're still steeping. We're not holding our offerings up to the sun yet or to the moon. We're still steeping. But as we find the cauldron continues to bubble, some of those things float away and we discover we don't need to pursue that angle anymore. We're not pursuing that flavor. That's something that's not bubbling to the top any longer. And I often write and speak at this time of year about this being a time to savor what we've made and what we've chosen, to look around at our lives and say, like, this is good. This is what I've chosen. This is what I want. And what we've made, what we've already created, what we've already sown, what we've already made in our lives. Let's savor what we've already made and enjoy what we've already made. That can be hard for me because I love the next new thing. I love creating new resources. I love using new resources. I have lots of energy and enthusiasm for ideas, and I love to invite myself and encourage myself to savor what I've made, to sink down into what I've already made and to savor it. Hence the reason I'm drawing upon an article that I've already written instead of totally fresh ideas. And so from one of the little companion cards that I made for this month, we each need time in the cauldron of reflection, time to steep low and slow in our own wisdom. We need time to cocoon still and soft, to listen to our soul song, to the story woman, to the one within who knows we need time to replenish and renew ourselves. Time to dialogue with destiny and with divinity, to tap into purpose and to root into restoration. It is here that we tune in to the infinite pulse unfolding. Sacred, sacred, sacred. This is now. Okay, so at the same time, and this was the closing of my essay and the reminder that after that camp in the crossroads, steeping in the crossroads, we do choose a way forward. And so the companion card that I have to offer in closing for today, actually I had two little affirmations that I chose from our Joy and Nourishment cards to remind you of. One is trust that you know the kind of nourishment you need. You really do, especially when you take the time to listen, when you take the time to steep, when you take the time to reflect, you discover that you really do know the kind of nourishment you need. And then the heart of devotional practice, remembering, reclaiming, and returning. So I hope as you take some time in the cauldron, whatever that looks like for you, that you take time to remember, reclaim, and return. That really is what it's all about. So closing now with this card, I am brave enough to say yes to my own life, yes to laughter and to tears, yes to failure and to discovery, yes to trying again, to beginning again, and to returning often. I say yes to my own soul, to sitting outside every morning and listening to life's unfolding. Yes to sunshine on my eyelids and raindrops on my open palms. Yes to oak leaves and dogwood flowers. Yes to mulberry trees and wind. Yes to waiting with my pen open to the poems that wander by in heart and land. This is my life, and I am here to live it. Wide blue sky, violets in the grass, the arising as it is. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making some space to steep with me. See you next week. Bye-bye.